Hey YouTube, this is Nico here, the Lightsworn Joker. Haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh! In a couple years now. Decided to come back earlier this year. Went to my first regional since restarting. And here's a deck list. I piloted Altergeist at the Arizona Regionals. I got 4th place. There was 263, I believe. My deck's a little techy, so just a heads up. And yeah, here we go. Alright, first up, got your monofaker. Most important card of the deck. Always win your games. Got 3 Altergeist meluseek. Pretty stable there so far. Just to let you know, I'll exactly break down what matches I played at the end, so I'll list that off too if that helps. 3 Altergeist marionette. I'm not going to do that till the end because someone doesn't want to stick around. Alright, 2 silq. Pretty standard so far. Here's where I get a little techie. So I decided to run 2 kunquerry. I looked at OCGI deck lists, and I saw that they were all starting to tech too. I decided to test it over the last week and a half, going to a couple different locals, and I found it actually coming up quite a bit where the second one would win me games. It came up against a Colossus. I used it to shut down a multi-roll for game. Basically, because I had 2, I didn't have to worry about like managing it as much, whereas normally you can never let the kunquerry hit grave, and once it does, all it can be used for is a spell negator, your first manifestation, spoofing it, or anything weird combination to get to hand. Whereas if I had 2, I could leave one on the board to actually do its job and negate something. Like an example would be round 9, I actually brought this off multifaker, used its effect to stop my opponent's area 0 when we were both in like a really awkward top decking game, so it locked him out of his free recursion and ended up getting me a win for it. For hand traps, gotta always have these boys. You can't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore, I guess. Feels weird when I last left all the way with Maxi and Valor. Ash Blossom. This card is absolutely great. Thank you, Konami, for making this. Felt weird to come back and read this thing and was like, what the hell? Alright, we ran 1 Ghost Ogre. My buddy gave me one of those ult arts, and since I didn't have like a beautiful ulti or something, it's good. We decided to run 1, and we also ran 1 Ghost Spell. So, I thought about running 2 Ghost Spell. I thought about running 2 Ghost Ogre. I determined I'd go 1 and 1 because there's a lot of matchups where this is better than this and this is better than this. So I went with the Ghost Spell because it could work against Thunder Dragon, it would work against Sky Striker, it would work against Orchist, it would work against, what's it called, stupid spell, Called by the Grave, which actually I did use this to stop a Called by the Grave once and it won me the game. I use this, it's just a very diverse card. It also stops the mirror match, ironically, but this actually won me round 9 and round 1. Round 1 I went against Thunder Dragon, and I opened this against his Hawk, and it cut off his play game 1, so he couldn't double Colossus me, and it also cut off his play game 2, so he couldn't Colossus Titan me. And then round 9, I was against Sky Striker, and he had Typhooned a secret village at the start of the game early, and he had baited my silq into bouncing his XYZ, and he knew I had protocol up with a meluseek, so I telegraphed that he probably had another one of those Typhoons. So I activated this. His facial expression was great, by the way. And yeah, that won me the game. As for the Ghost Ogre, I actually used this to beat Lunalight Orcus one round. He went for the Nyarla effect, and I hit him off that. And I also used it to take out a round 8 Sky Striker. He went for the multi-roll effect, and I got him off it. Game 1, and it still beat him in. So yeah, splitting up worked. As for the draw engine, got 3 Oye de la Extravaganza. Don't play Altergeist without this card. I can't express that enough. As for the other spells, I decided to filter it up a little bit. So I went with 1 1-for-1 and 1 duality. The theory behind the 1-for-1 was, I assumed since my hand trap lineup was a bit higher, it might come up where I could utilize it. And because I had more monsters due to the second kunquerry and the 2 extra hand trap, my monster lineup was pretty high. I drew 1-for-1 3 times. One time I used it to discard a multifaker that I added back to hand from silq, and then normaled the marionette, which gave me massive advantage and won me the game. The other time I drew it, I'd already established the board, so I used it for Nightmare Phoenix. And the third time I'd drawn it, I'd actually, again, already established the board. So this card works as a starter, but I'm not sure on it. But I felt like it was better than running 2 duality, because duality can also contradict yourself. Like, once you have a meluseek up already, or you're already set into it. Like, you can do it. Like, I meluseeked multiple, 7 meluseek and duality at the same time, or I bait out something to stop the meluseek a couple times into this. So it works. It's just, I don't know. As for the Altergeist trap lineup, you got your double protocol, end all be all, no more, no less. 1 manifestation. You can get away with 2 if you really want to. I don't feel a need to. I guess at least if you run 2, you don't have to worry about chaining it with spoofing and silq as often. 3 spoofing. I was looking at Decklist before when I was trying to perfect my Decklist. I saw people running 2. Whoever did that, you have the biggest balls in the world. I would never do that. I want to see this card every game. Infinite impermanence. Win condition. What more can I say? Next generic trap, we went double crackdown. Actually managed to use this on one of the Orcus guys to go into dingrisu, which was fun. But crackdown worked out well. I know it's not the greatest idea to mess around that way, but it does its job. Never really used the monster all that much. As for my old man lineup, since I'm an old man myself at this point, we went triple judgment, triple strike, 1 solemn warning, and finally an imperial order. So we ran a full old man lineup. The theory here honestly was you want to see 2 solemns. If you can get like a solemn and another solemn, or you can get solemn warning, solemn strike, or you can get imperial solemn judgment, you're going to win the match. In the current format, which as of playing this regionals, as of recording this video, the format has officially ended. It was under the last format with Mermaid, but anytime you see 2 solemns, that's pretty much going to win you the match. They're going to lock your opponent out. They're going to control the game. As long as you've seen 1 engine piece, you're basically ahead hours. These are the floodgates of the deck, to be honest. And that's all you have to do is just draw into them. As for the rest, for the extra deck, we got triple hextia. I never extravaganced all 3, thank God. I would have cried. I even played double extravagance one game when I was in a bad spot, and I still didn't hit the 3rd, so I was so pleased. I was like getting ready to cry if it happened too. Primavanshe. It'll out some random stuff. We played a borreload and a borrelsword. I mean, I guess I could run Avermax if I wanted to. I got a couple copies. Neither of them came up. I never needed to use either. You hardly used any of these extra deck monsters, to be honest. Unicorn. I think I used it 1 round when I was trying to get rid of some of the monsters I had cracked down. Phoenix, again, I said earlier, I used this to discard 1 for 1 for 1 game. I literally just went into it because I had cracked down a monster and needed to clear it off the board. As for the link 1s, these are your meluseek targets and your, well, partially silq. We got 2 link kuriboh, 2 almarji, because this one works with silq. I went into it once and actually ended up using it against True Draco to help control the board. And finally, 1 copy of Clare and Rushka for the side deck Secret Village. I thought going, what, 2, 2, 2, 1. Honestly, you could probably just do 3 link kuriboh and cut this to 1 if you really wanted to. You mainly go into link kuriboh. The only reason I utilize almarji at all is just because you can use it with silq. As for the final 2 cards for the extra deck, we got 1 Chimera, 1 dingrisu. This was just for simply if I crack down Galatea, and the Chimera tech was simply if I needed to, I could just contact into a cyber if I ran into that matchup. This never came up. This came up once. Honestly, I think I should have ran like a Hayate or some type of Sky Striker in the extra deck, because 2 games in a row I did crack down the Sky Striker links, and 1 game I was stuck with his Shizuku for a minute or 2. I had to take it just to make it so he couldn't get the search, so the resource game would, go in my favor. As for the side, I feel like I needed to put 2 Heavy Storm Duster in, but I can never figure out where to fit it. And that ended up making me go X11, because both times it's to True Draco, ironically. 3 Inspector Border. Never sided it. I never went first against any Orcus player. Almost everyone I had was a 2-0 against all the major meta, and I won 0 dice rolls. Actually, I take that back. I won 1 against Salomon Great, and that was round 6 or 7. Oh, give me a second. I think it was 6. It was 6, because 5 was Orcus, so I messed up on that earlier. As for the next side deck, triple artifact Lancia. Honestly, I don't think I needed this. I put it in on Force of Habit, thinking I'd see a lot. I think this is where I could have cut to fit the heavy Storm Dusters in. I could have kept one, maybe keep one border, maybe make it so one border and Artifact Lancia was two summon limits, and cut 2 Lancias down to make 2 heavy Storm Duster. This way I could use the summon limit as a way to hit Solomon Great as long as I could play around Foxy, and these 2 Artifact Lancias heavy Storm Dusters. This came up maybe 1 round against the Orgust player, and at that point I had Nibriu, so I literally just used a stall turn while I just built a bigger board. 3 Nibiru. This gets in the way of multifaker. Don't care. This card is amazing. It will beat every combo player. They will cry. That's all you need. Next up, 3 Secret Village. And the strikers I played, I drew it 1 time, and immediately he outed with Typhoon. Never sold any other game. It was very sad. Hypothetically, wins the matchup. Testing, wins the matchup. Reality, didn't draw it. Though I did draw Imperial Solemn against the Sky Striker guy, one Sky Striker guy round 2. It was great. Tried to Twin Twister the Imperial, flipped the Solemn, won the game. Side, triple evenly. The dream of evenly faker is amazing. Hence the word the dream. It never happened. I drew this card 1 round against Subterror. Sided it against every True Draco when I went second. Never drew it. Every Sky Striker when I went second. Never drew it. And decided it game 3 against Guru when I finally went second. Drew it. Assumed I drew 2, so I was like, okay, he's gonna have Fiendus. He's gonna stop one. I'll play the second one. He did not have the Fiendus. I resolved it for a +2, and then I grinded him out from there and took over the match. So that was the side deck. Extra deck, main deck. As for matchups, to help you guys get an understanding how it went, round 1 I played against Thunder Dragon, my best matchup. It was actually a buddy I knew named Ricardo. Sorry to that guy, he got screwed. Best luck next time. Don't play against Altergeist with Thunder Dragon. It's that bad if you've ever tested that matchup. Round 2, we ended up against an Orcus variant. Game 1, he attempted to Orcus combo, but I managed to ash the right card, and he had no follow-up for it. I then continued to grind him out and slowly win him out over a 2-3 turn process. Round 2 on that matchup, he actually opened up his full combo, but unfortunately for him, I opened up like a god and had Impermanence, Ash Blossom, and Nibiru, and I hit him with all 3 in the same turn. And when I finally Nibiru'd him, the only card he had left was the token. So, and the rest of my hand was marionetter, spoofing, and I drew another spoofing. So it's basically faker game. Round 4 was my first loss. I played against True Draco. Yeah, he started off the match by normal summon Inspector Border, set 5 pass. We managed to get around that, and we managed to out 2 borders that game. Didn't matter, though, because I opened up so many monsters that even outing that took too much resources and time. Round 2, I quickly beat him, even though he opened up border +5 again. And then round 3, border +5. This guy was the best True Draco player ever. He demised, drew the field spell, got the border, got all 5 back row. All he needed. And he actually outed that border, and then outed another border. And when next turn I had set up where I had game, but time got called, match over. So that was that round. Next round after, let's see here, 1, 2, 3. Round 4, I played against Guru. Probably the hardest match of the day, I'll be honest. That guy was a really good player, and I respect him for that. We got to really close to time, and me and him started rushing it, because me and him both, I guess, came with the we don't want to scumbag each other, and we want to get the match over. Round 5, I was against another True Draco. I should have scooped game 1. I let the match go too long, hit the 20-minute mark, because I thought I was going to win, but he had top deck Demise, another Demise, and a pot, so I had grinded him down to nothing, and it just came back. And then game 2, I lost that one. I won that match, and then we got to time before game 3 could start. Basically, my opponent decided he was going to show me how it's done and enter side decking for a while. And by side decking, sit there for 2 minutes shuffling his cards, refused to play me. So that was that tie. So that was my 1-1. After that, I went on to play against another Orcus. I 2-0'd him. Nibiru was a hell of a card game 2. And game 1, he didn't open the full Orcus combo, and I managed to grind and break through whatever he had with meluseek. Following round, I played against Solomon Great. Guy apparently lives up in Yuma. He's a really cool dude, really chill. Game 1, he didn't open up. I got to go first. This was the only round of the tournament, actually. I opened up really strong, and I knew I'd opened up strong. He just couldn't play through the resources. I had solems, crackdowns, the faker, the marionetter. I had the full shebang. This is the game where I also did the 1-for-1 discard faker. So, like, I had everything. This match was a blowout. And then, second round, guy didn't open up that strong. We kind of went back and forth in a grind game. He ended up trying to heat Leo my back row and got striked. And then that turn, he'd set up the 5 summons and got nibriu too. So, again, nibriu, combo decks. Card has got it on lock. Next round, finally got some Sky Strikers. I 2-0'd the guy. Game 1 was about 4, maybe 5 minutes. Game 2, I'm sorry, dude. I had Imperial and Solemn. I had set 4. He twin twisted. He hit a Solemn strike and I think a crackdown. So I stole the Imperial Solemn. Next turn, he activated a spell card. I flipped the Imperial. He had no response. I flipped the Solemn when he tried to twin it. So, yeah. And I also had a faker, so I kind of sacked him that game. Well, actually, I think I had meluseek at the start of that game. Yeah, because I summoned meluseek and attacked first, and I hit a back row. And it actually was his, there can only be one, I think. So, yeah, I kind of sacked him, so apologize to that guy. All right, now round 9, we go up against another Sky Striker player. Yeah, another Sky Striker player was the finals. Guy was really good. Game 1, I just kind of controlled him and beat him real fast. The game ended within a couple minutes because the guy realized he didn't have the advantage and he didn't open the strongest. Game 2, he opened up enough to get triple engage off, each with the draw. I realized quickly that there was no point in even trying to grind this guy. I'm better off taking this to game 3 because Sky Striker versus Altergeist can go into a pretty long game sometimes. So I scooped it up after he got his 4th engage plus, and he was up like a million cards. Any of the roll. Didn't even have to search it. He hard drew it with the Ray and the the foolish upstart into triple engage. He engaged into engage like a good champ. And then round 3, we both grinded each other within the first 2 turns down to like 1 card, and it became simplified game state, and he missed Area Zero's field effect twice. Well, he didn't miss. The first time he got a what is it called? Shark Cannon. Second time he missed, and he revealed to me some of the side deck cards that he had still left in deck. And then from there, I had drawn spoofing. I end phased. I used his spoofing to target protocol. I was attempting to bait Ash. This way, if he did have the Ash, I could set up where I was top decking higher into Altergeist cards, and he did. And the following turn, I drew into another Altergeist card and used spoofing again to get Marionetter. I had already put Faker in grave since turn 1. I then continued to slow grind him out, and I won that match. At the final, like I was saying earlier, the last play that ended the game was we were into our grind game now. He had finally established resources. He'd gotten another engaged top deck. He knew I had silq and protocol, and he was trying to bait protocol and destroy it and hit me with the Ray with Hayate for damage. So I had bounced his monster to force the Ray. He used the Ray, and he did it with such confidence. And I paused for a moment, and I go, okay, he knows I have meluseek. He knows I have protocol. He's attempting to typhoon it, because he typhooned a secret village that I had opened with this game instantly, like without even question. So I go, okay, I'm going to go a spell. His face, like I said earlier, lit up, and that was the end of that. He basically, next turn, he just scooped. He knew he couldn't get through it. He just lost all of his resources from that gamble. And yeah, the random tech ghost spell got him. And actually, I decided the ghost spell out game 2, because I put in the evenlies. And when I took the evenlies out, I put the 3 hand traps back, and I put in the 2 hand traps and the 1-for-1 back in as they were going in. Basically, anytime I sided out Ghost Spell or Ogre, normally I would cut the 1-for-1, for the simple fact that my monster lineup was going lower, which made the card less viable. But that was it. If you guys have any questions, as you can see, there's the mat. Here's the little 4th place deck box. Sorry it took 2 or 3 days extra to get this video up, but I've been busy, so alrighty, have a great day, and good seeing you again, YouTube.